Let's bring in co-host of America's Newsroom in the 5, Dana Perino. Good morning, Dana.
Hi, good morning.
Boy, this is going to be a pretty heated press briefing at the White House, I think, today, 1 o'clock.
Well, it doesn't have to be necessarily, and I think that President Trump is already signaling that he knows that something that is not sustainable has to be changed. And he did an interview last night with the Wall Street Journal, Josh Dawsey. Apparently, I think he talked to a few other people, and he's seeding the ground to say, okay, maybe we're going to make some changes here. So I think that that is more than likely going to happen before she briefs.
So what would you say during the briefing? You were the White House press secretary.
Yeah.
Now it's Caroline, 1 o'clock today.
In some ways, the most important work, well, actually in every way, the most important work of a press secretary is never seen. Okay, they're the ones working behind the scenes with reporters. They're the ones helping the president or the chief of staff or whoever it is think about the messaging. What are we saying? But also being very clear to the officials that we have a gigantic problem. And yes, we can say that the media is biased. And we can say that the Democrats are crazy and that they're radical and that they're ginning everything up. But we have a problem. And I need better answers for you before I go to the briefing room at 1 o'clock.
So the question is, how do you make adjustments without showing weakness? For example, if Minneapolis gets all 3,000 to leave, that's going to be the template for every left-wing city. So
okay, well, this is another thing that I would do. And I think they could do this in the briefing today or even before. And Jesse Waters mentioned this last week. They've accomplished a lot in Minneapolis, right? They've obviously arrested a lot of illegal immigrants. So I would do a stop. Look at the inventory. These are the people that we wanted to capture, and we got them. These are the people we're still waiting for, and we're asking the governor and the mayor to do the right thing, get these criminals out of Minnesota for the safety of Minnesota, and then let's move forward. Because I think they have made a lot of progress, and they can move on to something else. Because the issue about the investigation of the shooting is going to blot out the sun. Okay, that's going to be there no matter what. But I also think one other thing. Steve Witkoff, wherever he is now, trying to deal a deal somewhere, trying to get peace agreements done. When he gets back from Russia or wherever it is he might be, I'd send him to Minneapolis because I believe they need somebody that can be trusted on both sides to say, I hear you, I hear you, and here's where we're going.
You know, Dana, just in the last few seconds ago, President Trump has taken to Truth Social and said that he is sending Tom Homan to Minnesota today.
Good decision as well. And Tom Homan, based on the reporting, has been saying, guys, we should go after the worst of the worst. This is a problem. Also, I think that law enforcement, through their signals, are telling people like Bill Malugin, this is becoming a problem for us. Our safety is at risk because it's ginning people up by saying that we are doing things that we are not doing. Tom Homan has been saying, let's get in there, let me help. So by the president making that action today, as I said, he knows it's unsustainable. He's doing something different today.
You know what I look for Tom Homan to do? I think he's going to meet with the mayor and governor. And I think he can come in. On first glance, you might go, well, he's just a Trump guy. Well, not really. He was just big on the border. And for Barack Obama to give him an award for what his incredible work he did with Jay Johnson, and I think he has bipartisan credibility. And also, I didn't see him for a week or two, you know he wasn't buying into what was happening. And there's been friction between the Kristi Noem people and Tom Homan for a while, but he will not go public, and nor do they want to be fighting in public.
Well, that's the other thing, is that they're sniping behind the scenes, and the president is now saying, I am sending Tom Homan to Minneapolis. So everybody get in line. And then it's, yes, sir, Mr. President, the briefing becomes
What do you think is happening behind the scenes with the Democrats? What do you think the mayor and the governor are saying? They might have one message in front of the microphone, but do they ever say, all right, we need to work with the president here?
It's hard for me to say because I don't think like they do. And I do believe that they've been, from the beginning, stubborn, obstinate, not willing. And they have been telling people, go out and film. Go do Good Trouble. Okay, well, Good Trouble has led to a lot of terrible consequences. And the media, they were nowhere. When we would ask Bill Malugin and Griff Jenkins, any other media down there with you at the border? No. Absolutely no one. Every media is in Minnesota. But that, to me, is not what matters as much as it is what people are seeing on their phones. It's the videos that they're watching. And everyone now is like a forensics investigator. Say, well, here's the angle, here's the angle. I also believe that the administration needs to take a step back and say, we are not going to judge these investigations until we get more answers.
Which Tom Homan has said from day one, even the other shooting. Real quick, Dana, I worry about a lockout, because they said they're gonna stop the DHS and getting funded.
Okay, I heard the best statistic last night. I pray it's right, because I'm about to say it right here. even if they were to say we're going to shut down the Democrats, I'm going to shut down the government and we're going to defund ICE, the bill that passed before, it funds DHS and ICE through 2029. So this would be pointless, so let's not do that.
And you're going to talk about this on America's Newsroom
yeah, it's
in about
coming up
15
at
minutes.
9 o'clock. I'm warmed up. It's hot in
We
here.
got you ready to go. All right, Dana Perino, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thanks
Look
for
at those
having me.
great guests. Cannot wait. I'll watch every minute.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.